let's move on to mixing the Celluclay. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because it's just a product we need for later, but I thought it would be a good idea to do it right now. I don't know if my water is hot enough. I think it is. So you just fill a container, or use a bigger container if you don't want to make a mess, with the powder that you remove the lumps from. You want to break it down into smaller particles because otherwise it's not going to mix as easily. You add just enough water to no longer make it a powder. You know, you want it to make it into a creamy product. Let me zoom in a little bit for you. That should be enough. So I use my fingers because I can feel the changes. You could use a stick, you could use a brush, the handle of a brush if it's clean. Always use clean products when you're doing paper mache. In case of doubt, if you drop your tool on the floor, for example, do not use it. Go wash it first. Wash it well. A bit more water because I was feeling resistance. I used to mix it way too liquid, and I kept complaining that Celluclay was not good for doing details, and I didn't understand how some people could do it until I found out that, hey, somebody told me how to mix it. First of all, use hot water. That means a lot less lumps. Use enough of it so that all the lumps are dissolved. I might have just added too much, but that's just going to be great because I just show you that you can just add more powder. So here's the trick. First, you mix it until there's no more lumps. At first, it's one finger or two. Two is more strong, of course. I don't damage my nerves or my tendons as much. And eventually, you probably want to squish the whole thing in your hand. It's going to get messy. This stuff is really, really sticky. And you're going to use the sides of the container to... And yes, the sound is very inspiring, isn't it? Oh, listen to that. Being messy is part of the fun of doing stuff like that. So, you know, if you don't like it, get used to it. If you can't get used to it, then maybe you need to change your methods to accommodate your tendencies. It's all possible. You could wear gloves, for example. And see, this is fine. I know that with time, if you leave it out a few minutes, it's going to firm up. I still feel like there are some little lumps in there. So again, I squish the sides to the sides of the container, using my hand as a backing because this plastic is relatively thin. But I like to use reusable, resealable containers like this because they don't take much space in the fridge. And I only make small batches at a time because, unless I'm making a large sculpture, of course. But for the large sculptures, I usually use Celluclay only as a surface filler. So that if there's a little gap or an area to bump up a little bit, I'll use it. But I will not cover the whole big surface. Like if it's a human head size, I will not use Celluclay over the whole thing. It would be way too heavy. If I'm making a mask, for example, I need it to be as lightweight as possible. So Celluclay is out of the question as a covering agent. But as a surface correction, sure, it's not going to make a huge difference. Unless, of course, there's a lot of corrections to make. In which case, I would use something like my own personal mix of paper pulp made out of toilet paper and boiled wheat paste. Listen to me going on about all my tricks in just one video. Don't worry, I got plenty of them, so I'll make more videos. But there it is. This is the consistency I like. At first, it's a little bit too, runny. Not runny exactly, but it's more like, I don't know, grout. Bathroom grout or something. It's not quite, it's like oatmeal, but without the lumps. It's not quite easy to shape yet, but you leave it out, or you close it, with a lid. Put that in the fridge for an hour. It's going to firm up quite a bit. It might even firm up too much. So if I'm going to use it in less than an hour, I'll just leave it out. Maybe I'll put the lid like this on top, like this. And, for air circulation. Or if I'm in a hurry, I'll just leave it out like this. It's probably better if you flatten it down first so that no edges stick out and start drying prematurely. You want to have a nice, even surface. You might want to put some kind of, a piece of tissue on top to protect it from dust that you might be doing with your other steps. But this will firm up, within an hour. It's going to be a lot easier to use. If you want to use it right away, you can still cheat. You can take that ball of Celluclay. You see, it's already a bit firmer than it was. And you can get some of that powder, put it on the table or on a clean plate, and then roll it in the powder, and then start kneading it in. And you keep doing that until it firms up enough. That's another thing. But that batch will probably become way too firm next time you want to use it. So what you want to do is add more of that hot water to the mix, and it will make it smooth again. So there you go. I'm going to put that away for now.